Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the headliners 86 Dayot Upamecano. We're going to be going through the card's detail stats, clips and summary. I've done a review on the 84 one before. He was okay, not too great, but not too bad either. But we are going to see how this 86 plays. We're going to go into his detail stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload. And comment down below what your thoughts are on this card and if you enjoy using him or if you are using his upgrade. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, getting into the Dayot Upamecano player review here, and this is the team that I used him in the 4-2-3-1. I made sure he was on full chem for this team. And overall, first impressions of this card, guys, or second impressions should I say, because we have done the 84 card. This card really didn't do it for me, guys, in terms of his overall capability and what he should be. He's a pretty decent card, guys. Overall, I just wasn't that impressed. It did feel like I was overpaying a bit for what I was getting. Without further ado, let's just get into the review. Dayot Upamecano, 6'1", medium work rates, right-footed, 2-star skills and 3-star weak foot. So not ideal in terms of work rates or weak foot. I'd like the weak foot to be one higher. Certainly the work rates to be favouring his defensive work rate. However, overall medium means he doesn't overcommit on the attack either, so that's okay as well. In terms of chemistry style, I put the shadow on him, guys. I maybe would be tempted to put something that boosts his dribbling in hindsight now. But overall, guys, I feel like his defending and his pace really did need that helping hand. Even though his pace is very good, with that helping hand, it really did help out a lot in terms of how he was able to play and what he was able to do in terms of catching those pacey strikers. Which brings me into the attribute details, guys. Let's start with the pros first of all. Strength 99, that's fantastic. Jumping 97, fantastic. Stand tackle 93, that's fantastic as well. Decent short and long pass too, and you guys will see that in the clips as well. Some of his passing range was on show. The cons of this card, guys: 67 stamina. I mean, that's absolutely terrible. By the end of the game, guys, if you've been running around a lot with this card, covering runs and sweeping in behind your defense, you will find this card struggling for stamina. His 75 acceleration is pretty poor as well, although his sprint speed is high, so when he's eventually at that top speed, he does do really well. To catch strikers, you do need a better acceleration, hence why the shadow chemistry style was put on him. Overall, guys, I do feel like this card was just lacking a little bit in the overall ability of a defender. It needs to be a little better, especially to justify that massive price tag he has. Finally, player traits, guys, no traits to speak home of. And that wraps up that for this card. So without further ado, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into Dayot Upamecano's clips, and what you guys are going to see here, of course, is his overall defensive dominance and his ability to win the ball back. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, guys, is that pace. Of course, Dayot Upamecano's pace, absolutely phenomenal. He is very quick at catching those fast strikers, getting in front of them. Great power as well, guys, which is really nice to have. That physicality level between pace and athleticism and power is a really nice combination to have, especially on a card like this, where he is so big and strong as well. Really does help in terms of being able to take charge of your defense and lead your defensive line. However, guys, what I am going to say into counter argument to this, and this is the biggest con of this Dayot Upamecano card, is I felt his card was very clumsy and lazy. Guys, often when I wanted to do something good with this card, I really had to have control of him. If I left him to his own devices, he would often not stick out a leg to get a block in, or his tackles would be lazy. Like you guys can see there, he does miss time some tackles, but overall, guys, he is an okay tackler. I would just say that a lot of the time he is very lazy on the tackle, and it's very difficult to cleanly tackle with this player at times for me because of that almost lazy ability. He doesn't quite take the ball cleanly and strongly like he should. Don't get me wrong, his physicality and power is a big pro, but his defensive power, his defensive ability to just tackle cleanly and win the ball well is something that I really struggled with, guys, and I continue to struggle with this from the 84 as well. I really don't think that this card has improved that much from the 84 in that regard, and that's really something that I struggled with too, because I did want to see a big improvement in this card, of course, dating back to that moment Upamecano we got last year. But guys, honestly, he just didn't have it for me in these games. Now, some of these are super athletic. Like that tackle there, that's a phenomenal tackle, guys. And those kind of plays there where he's really able to take charge with him and win the ball like that, again, it's very easy to defend with this card. But when it gets to that situation where you're up against the quicker players, he just really does struggle. And because I have someone like Sol Campbell to compare, it's easy to do so. In this final clip here, great positioning to pick up the ball and just dribble it out and play a simple pass. So guys, getting into this final Dayot Upamecano summary, 382 on the PlayStation, 295 on the Xbox, and 410 on the PC. Now guys, that's a steep price to pay for this card, especially considering what I think of this card in the end. Of course, the key stats here, guys, of course, that 99 strength, 97 jumping, 93 stand tackle, very strong, very capable player, 92 sprint speed. Once you have boosted that pace, I think he really is fantastic sprinter and athletic player in terms of how he plays against those faster strikers. Of course, decent passing as well. Getting into the chemistry style that I would recommend, guys, a shadow really does seem to fit him best in terms of being able to boost everything that you need to be able to boost about him. Of course, you put an anchor on him, it does boost his physicality, but it doesn't do anything for his stamina, and that's really the problem there with this card. I think if you were to go and try and fix elsewhere, you could put all of these defensive styles on him. Maybe his dribbling could use a little boost, and that would help him out a little more. But I do think, guys, that this card really does struggle, and I really don't think he is worth that hefty price tag that is stuck on him right now. However, guys, I will digress and keep going just so you guys know all the info about him. In terms of similar players, guys, we could look here at this Klosterman card. Isn't a bad choice. I think Klosterman's actually a better player than him. It's hard for me to say Smalling yet. I haven't tried Smalling or Fofana either, but I think that he's not really. He's a very big and strong centre back, and the way that he's built, guys, is very different from all other centre backs because these are all relatively lean or leaner centre backs. I think this guy is absolutely huge in how he plays, and his body mass is what makes him such a threat. Do I say Van Dijk? I think he's a worse version of Van Dijk, even the regular Van Dijk. I think he's much worse than him. So that's really where I would go with this card. I really don't think he stacks up against a lot of these cards because of how they play, or the body types are completely different. In terms of the linkability, guys, of course, this card, fantastic for linkability. A perfect link to that Mukiele, Nkunku, and Konate. Strong links, of course, to a bunch of fun players as well. All these French icons, as we would imagine. But then we get into some of these here. Sabitzer, Szoboszlai. There's also a liner in there, and Emil Forsberg, a Moussa Diaby, Alassane Plea. There's that liner there. Of course, Gulashi as well. So we've got a lot of nice players to link him in with as well. Finally, guys, if we just get into the price review, guys, you guys can see here, compared to other Bundesliga centre backs, he sits above Jerome Boateng and just underneath Lucas Klosterman. Do I think he's as good as Klosterman? No, I do not. Do I think he's better than this Boateng? I do not think he is better than that Boateng, despite the fact that he is more athletic. I think this Boateng is just as much of a fridge and actually plays better with the ball than this Dayot Upamecano. I think you have to rely too much on this Upamecano's athleticism, and if that works for you, then that's great. But for me, a defender needs to be good at defending first and foremost, and this card, especially with his lack of stamina, really did struggle for me in my team. If we look across all the players that he can be compared to in the FIFA database, we can see that he's just above Casemiro, Baresi, and just under Fernando Hierro and Nemanja Vidic. Do I think he stacks up against any of these? Certainly not against Casemiro. I've used that Casemiro. I thought it was fantastic for me. A little stiff as well, a little stiffer than this Dayot Upamecano, but I think the Casemiro card was fantastic. Better than Baresi for sure. Hierro, that's debatable for me, depending on how you play and what tactics you have. Nemanja Vidic, certainly not. And again, we're getting up to the Lucas Klostermans again there. So, guys, I really don't think that he does best a lot of these defenders, and he really is overpriced and overhyped for what I think he is. Looking up as well, I don't think he really stacks up against that, which brings me to my final recommendation, sorry guys, which is I would not recommend going out and buying this card. I do not think he is worth it. And overall, guys, I think you're better off investing that coin into somewhere where you're going to get a really good centre-back who will fit in with your team. Although this is, of course, a French centre-back in the Bundesliga, really nice for linkability. I think you can do a lot better, guys, just in terms of picking up a simple centre-back that will do the job and waiting for the right card to come out to spend that sort of coin to get that sort of player. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.